Dr. Stoudemire, do you want to start by welcoming everyone, and then we'll move into our program?
Certainly. It is really an honor and a privilege to have you gathered here this evening. And I want to welcome you to this virtual tent meeting where we are honoring the families of our graduates who are also part of the alumni of Loma Linda, both the School of Medicine and some other schools. It has always been a tradition that when your graduate came across the platform, you were there in your regalia to be able to have intergenerational photos taken. And while we can't reproduce that moment, this is as close as we can come. So Tammy and I dressed up in our regalia, even though you don't get to see too much of it. We took our hats off because it was not very good with the background. I wanted to thank the staff who helped us pull this together and who photoshopped in a 2020 version of the graduation platform as it might have looked at. This will be something that we will send this photo out to all of you as well. So because you are so important to us as family physicians of our graduates, we honor you tonight, and I want to turn it over now to Dr. Thomas, our Dean.
Thank you, everybody, for coming on. I'm a newbie at this. I think Dr. Hadley can weigh in, but we were disappointed for the class of 2020. I know there's a lot of downstream effects from the global pandemic, but one of them was that they missed out on some moments of life and some rites of passage, and not experiencing a match with everybody else and not experiencing a graduation. I think one of the things I always tell them at graduation is there's not very many times in life where you can rest on your laurels, and I always say stop and savor this moment, because it's one of them. And so part of that graduation, we allow alumni parents to march up in the processional and to sit in the tent that you can see in the picture behind me, and be the first to congratulate your child as they graduate. So every year as we look over this, I'm really reminded of all the remarkable journeys that people are on, that our alumni, and the significant impact that our alumni has on the lives of the people around them. And as one of the larger alumni groups in the Western United States, I'm really touched by the legacy that it leaves behind. The dictionary defines legacy as something that's handed down, it's endowed, or it's conveyed from one person or one group to another. But I think when you look at the school and the mission and what the school has been here to accomplish, it has left a definite legacy. We receive legacies from our family members. Maybe you received somebody's beautiful smile or their distinctive laugh or a life lived of kindness. We inherit and receive a lot of legacies from, I think, our family members. The School of Medicine, and even before us, the College of Medical Evangelists, created a significant legacy through the years. And we have now graduated over 11,500 students, and which is one of the larger alumni in the Western United States. I think when you think about all those people who came through, were selected to come through because of a specific mission, and they were selected because of their ability to contribute to that mission. So I feel like we stand on the shoulders of giants who sacrificed to contribute to this legacy of service to the people around us. I hear every day accounts of how remarkable the achievements of Loma Linda University School of Medicine graduates and alumni. I hear them from all over the world, regardless of where I'm at. For you as parents, you've heard it takes a village to raise a child, and each of your children during medical school needed a village of support, whether it was parents or it was family, friends, faculty, community, and classmates. And this village of support, I believe, is part of the legacy of the Alumni Association. We have a connection from our past lives as students, in the lives of our current medical students. We're connected to their experience as alumnus, although I don't know if any of us in the parent group or otherwise remember what it felt like to have to study all the time. It's a distant memory. We are also connected with our students through a common decision to provide service to our current and our future patients' lives. So we're really proud of the accomplishments of the class of 2020. They are remarkable people, and we want to be able to celebrate them. We want their lives and their careers and success to eclipse all of our own as they go out and change the world to make it a better place. So we thank you for meeting with us. We just wanted you to have the opportunity, one, to connect and to know that we recognize what a difference this is to not be able to experience it in person. So I wanted everyone to go around and talk about, to introduce themselves as parents, introduce the name of your student, and then tell us when you graduated, and relay one special memory of your time here, and one special thing that you'd like us to hear about your student that's graduating. So I'm going to call on a few people, probably alphabetically, so I don't leave anyone out. And I think the first group was Dr. John Chung. And Linda, are you on? Let's see. Okay, so we have Dr. Billy and Kathy Chung. Are you on? Okay. We'll go down. What's that?
Can you see me?
Oh, there you are. Hi.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Fine, thanks. Okay, my name is Kathy Pack, now Kathy Pack Chung, and I graduated in 1987, and I was classmates with Tammy. And I just, one wonderful memory during that time is, it was really a time of growth for us in many ways, but just spiritually, I remember the big support we got from the churches in the nearby area. And the things that I remember a lot is school life and church life. And my faith grew a lot during my time there. And this has been the special experience my son has had too. I've seen a lot of growth, not only academically, but spiritually. So I'm very thankful for the environment at Loma Linda and the surrounding churches in the area. And also, of course, all the faculty and staff. And so that's my contribution.
Any advice for your graduate? Yeah.
Yeah, for Michael, actually, this is something I told him when he was graduating from high school and from college. And so I just want to read this again. And it's a quote from Ellen G. White. It said, "The greatest want of the world is the want of men who will not be bought or sold. Men who in their inmost souls are true and honest. Men who do not fear to call sin by its right name. Men whose conscience is as true to duty as the needle to the pole. Men who will stand for the right, though the heavens fall." And I really think this graduating class has a very special mission with the world the way it is right now. And, it's a very uncertain world that they're going out into. And so I really pray a lot for my son and for all the graduates that they will be this type of doctor for the world.
That's really nice. Thank you, Kathy. Very nice. I did see Jim Engelhart on.
Can you see me now?
Yes, we can. How are you?
Good, thank you. Good to see you.
You too.
So my name is James Engelhart, and my student is Sean Engelhart. I graduated in 1984, and some of the things I remember from being there are the dedicated teachers that I had in medical school and in radiology residency when I was there. And I remember fondly the graduation ceremonies when all my family came and even my grandmother came to be with us. It was a special time. I remember that. I'd sort of prepared something to say to Sean, so I guess I'll go into that unless. So, all right. So hello, Sean. My heart is happy and full of joy to be with you and share in your graduation celebration. Today, I'm proud to call you Dr. Engelhart. Yes, Dr. Engelhart, your years of study and hard work have paid off, son. We, your family, are very proud. I know you'll inspire us as you give your patients the best care and put into practice the mission of Loma Linda University to make man whole. Now it's time for a new chapter in your life. Soon you'll start your anesthesiology residency. As you study this field and learn new skills, here's a bit of advice. If you have an anxious patient that asks you to administer their own anesthetic, tell them, sure, go ahead, knock yourself out. Seriously though, have a gas learning to be an anesthesiologist. Love you, son.
Thank you very much. Very, very nice, and a lot of good anesthesia references, so thank you. All right, Hartman's are next. Are they on? I don't see, but we'll give them a chance if they are. And how about, I did see how, oh, there you are. How are you?
Fine.
Go right ahead. We'll let you go on. Introduce yourself.
First of all, I'm Cyril Granger Hartman, graduated in 1961 from the College of Medical Evangelists, and I'm congratulating my granddaughter, Renee Hartman Jackson, and I especially want to congratulate the teachers also that trained her. And in my time at Loma Linda, it was quite difficult. In fact, I think it was more difficult than Renee has found it. That may be because she's smarter, more importantly, probably better direction. For instance, we were given no specific guidance for microbiology. And that was under Dr. Judifine. And so I see today you have had lots of direction and lots better help in notes and other things, because in our day, we took down lectures by hand, if you could get everything written like that. So that I see it that the school has, and the teachers have done a much better job than they were doing for me. And so I congratulate each one. And I leave with this promise of Psalm 32:8. I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way that thou shalt go. I will guide thee with mine eye. And I'd like her father to say a word or two at this point.
Sure.
So congratulations, Renee, and all graduates. I just really like the motto of Loma Linda that we had to make man whole. And to remember, you don't have to know everything, but you know the one who knows everything. As a great physician, turn to him. Thank you so much.
Curtis is a graduate of the nursing school.
I saw that. Thank you very much. That was beautiful. Thank you both. And I think that I missed one person. I missed Dr. Dedeker. I think I saw him on. Let's get you unmuted.
Good, thank you. I'm Ken Dedeker, class of 1961 also. And at that time, our campus was split between Loma Linda for the first 2 years, and then basically the third year was mostly at the Rock, the LA County Hospital, and all 18 stories of it. And then senior year mostly over at the White Memorial. And as Cyril has mentioned, it was a College of Medical Evangelists at that time. And shortly after, the name was changed and everybody moved to Loma Linda. But my graduate, or our graduate here, is Jenna Mae Dedeker Shoemaker, getting her MD, and has chosen, gratefully and thankfully to us, to be known as Dr. Dedeker rather than Dr. Shoemaker. Grandma and I are both very happy with Jenna and very proud of you, Jenna, at this time. You've accomplished a lot in your young life. You have shown great determination and persistence in attaining your goal of becoming a respected and honored medical clinician. Yes, there's more training ahead, but we're sure that you can accomplish it well and do your very best in your chosen specialty. Your extended family is also very proud of you, and I think expressed that during our family vacation at Christmas when we were all together in Hawaii. The word I want to leave for you and for even all your classmates is taken from the Apostle Paul when he was writing to the Corinthians. And this is taken a little out of context and slightly paraphrased a bit. But he said, I am not in this job for what I can get out of it, but for what benefits I can bring to the many, many that may be helped. Congratulations, Jenna, and we love you so very much.
Thank you, Dr. Dedeker. That was very lovely. I appreciate the sentiment. Next, we have the Gorhuses. I don't know if they are on. Don't see them. So we will move on to the Housteds. And I do see them on.
I will start. I am Birgit Hosted. I graduated in 1991, and I would just like to say a tribute to our son, Andy. Andy, it seems like just yesterday you and I were in the car together. You were somewhere between 2 and 3, and you heard an ambulance siren. Immediately you said in German, Mommy, hoi. That means listen. And then you said, Mommy, let's pay. And you, with such earnestness, prayed for those people. You prayed that they would be okay, and you prayed that God would protect them, watch over them, and keep them safe. Now to think, 24 years later, you'll be the one to receive those people from the ambulance when you do your residency in the ER. And my heart rejoices with you. It rejoices with you for what God has blessed you to accomplish. And please, Andy, remember to pray, just like you did then, because I honestly believe that God will hear your prayer on their behalf, just like he did when you were a child. My prayer for you, Andy, is that God blesses your hands, your mind, and your heart. And as you are an extension of his hands, his heart to your patients, whom you take care of. It was an honor to get to go to a medical school that taught us the important skills of being a critical thinker. Yet above all, I have to say, it was a blessing to get to go to a Christian school that values more than just the physical healing, but sees the value of making man whole. And Andy, that can only be accomplished as we surrender to the mentorship and the attending of God. I love you, Andy, and I am so thankful to get to be your mom.
Thank you so much. Okay, I think next is Dr. Juan, for Dr. Huang. Is Esther on?
Dr. Halstead is just unmuted himself too.
Oh, okay, perfect. I didn't see him there. Go right ahead, Dr. Halstead.
Hi, I'm Randy Halstead. I graduated in 1991, and my son's Andy.
Mm-hmm.
One of my highlights of medical school was able to participate in the pathology post-sophomore fellowship program, which led me into pathology, which I'm grateful for. The one thing that I've always noticed about Andy is his positive outlook on life and his eagerness to learn and his fascination with figuring things out. At a very young age, he would call me in my office and he'd say, "What are you doing?" And I say, "Well, I'm looking at slides." And the first time he came to my office, he was somewhat perplexed that there were no slides to go down. But his fascination turned to my microscope, and he'd look at my microscope and I say, "Well, what do you see?" And he says, "Papa, it's cancer." So he learned at a young age seeing lots of blue under the microscope was not a good thing. But his fascination continued with the hospital. We went, and medicine, we went on medical trips to first Fiji, where he, as a preteen, conducted eye examinations, and then on to Vietnam as a teenager. And he wanted to learn how to do pediatric histories and physicals. So after the first day, he became a very valuable resource for each one of us. And the hospital was a continued draw for him. And before long, in his early teens, he was volunteering at the hospital gift shop. And that quickly led to recovering patients in outpatient surgery. And the nurses would call me some days and say, "Is Andy coming in?" And because they enjoyed his positive attitude and also the help he would give. Now his journey continues as a doctor and as an ED resident, and continue to bring that same joy for learning and that positive attitude that that you just light up the room for, and continue the importance of prayer and realizing where your strength comes from. And that's one thing that he's always been able to balance, is that if there's trouble or if there's a problem, it's like, let's pray. So I love you, Andy, and I wish you the very best, and I'm glad to be your father.
That's really great. Thank you so much. And wonderful, wonderful advice too. So callers are next.
This is Deb Stottlemyre. Is Gabrielle Kaler and her parents on the call?
Okay, how about we'll move on to Christiangers. Okay. Then we will move on to Lowe's. I know I saw them on.
Hi. And this is my husband, Jeffrey Lowe, Matt's father. So Matthew Lowe is our son. I graduated from the class of 1992. I've been fortunate to actually be here on staff. So some comments for Matthew. As a third-year medical student, I can recall the nights that you were on call for inpatient pediatrics. The numerous times you couldn't wait to tell me about how cute your patients were. You're curious, you're funny, at times over the top silly, and yet always committed to your patients. And you have the ability to relate to others on a genuine level, even upon first meeting them. You will make connections with patients and families. I know you, I have no doubt. I hope that with each encounter, you will embrace your fundamental role, not just as their pediatrician, but as a caring adult. That your patient and their parent or caretaker will always feel these four things: warmth, encouragement, support, and belief, your belief in them. I hope that you will practice what you've learned from your time here, from the teaching and role modeling of faculty and mentors who took care and connected with you and enabled you to feel those four things. Congratulations, Matt. Today, we could not be more grateful to God, to all your faculty, and to the patients you've seen so far. For every person's role and their commitment to your development into becoming a physician as you prepare to be of service to others. Love you.
Thanks, Mom. Need this now.
Yeah,
That's great. Thank you so much. That was great. Okay, I think next I'll double check to see if they're here, but are men's here? I didn't see them. Let's go to Opsals next. Are you, the Opsals here? Okay. We will move on to Reichert's. I did see Reichert's.
Hello, it's Dan Reicher here, class of 1988. Got my wife Lynn here, who is with me during medical school, and I'm here to speak to my son's graduation, Zach Reicher. Memories that I have of school here, gross anatomy in Shryock Hall, enjoying life with my wife Lynn, intramural sports with my classmates, I'll always remember, and I still remember to this day my graduation speaker. Boo, we don't have graduation this year. Anyway, it was William DeVries, a surgeon, cardiac surgeon from Duke University, put the first mechanical heart transplant in, and basically gave a wonderful message about the greatest method of teaching being demonstrated in Jesus Christ. So it is with joy and admiration that I'm able to congratulate my son Zach on receiving this Doctor of Medicine degree from my own alma mater. With a parent's pleasure, I can say he has surpassed any accomplishments of my own medical school experience. He has achieved academic successes and learned to be a leader and thinker that will influence needed change in the medical system. His academic accomplishments and awards can be reviewed in his graduation bio, but I am most happy with his life as a kind, gentle, caring, thoughtful, and proactive human being. He's actively pursued the call of this institution to maintain balance in his life, despite the pressure of the perceived rewards of a singularly focused approach to success in the medical profession. He has embraced life in general. I know the future presents challenges, yet will be very bright for Zach. He's committed to caring for the neediest populations and is excited to pursue methods of serving at the highest level as he begins his training at LA County USC Department of Emergency Medicine. He has a passion for healing the disparities we see in outcomes and delivery of care in our medical system. He's committed to influencing change, not for financial gain, but because it's the right thing to do. I'm proud to share an alma mater with Zach. Loma Linda will be proud to have Zach as an alumnus. And in conclusion, a few words of fatherly advice to Zach. Grow in humility, kindness, patience, perseverance. Maintain a servant-oriented approach to life in all areas. Stay balanced in the approach to your career and life in general, and love all God's children. We love you, Zach.
Very nice. Thank you so much. All right, Schaefers. I know I saw them on.
Hi.
Randall, how are you?
Thank you. I'm Randall Schaefer, class of '84, and happy I can be here where Sarah is, and congratulate her as she comes out of the building. I have very fond memories of my days of medical school, and especially all the friends that I made that I've been with, you know, for years and kept up with and enjoyed. And I think the friendships I made are very, very important to me. Also, the mentorship of some of the attendings that I spent time with, especially Dr. Clifton Reeves, who taught me and showed me how to pray with patients and other very important things. I'm very proud of Sarah and the path she's chosen. I remember when she was a little girl, I took her on multiple mission trips, short-term ones, you know, a week or two, and how she absolutely just breathed that every day, thought about it, and she couldn't sleep at night, so excited about the next mission trip. And she always wanted to be a missionary. And then one day she said, Dad, I think I want to be a missionary, but I actually want to be a doctor missionary. And so that was the journey, and it's been really fun. I have some words of advice for Sarah. Live simply, share extravagantly, enjoy practicing medicine, realizing it's a privilege. Stay close to Jesus, and both you and your patients will be blessed.
Great advice. Thank you. Thank you both. And congratulations, Sarah. Speedies. Thought I saw him on.
Yes, I'm Bob Speedy, and my wife here, Linda, is with me, and my daughter Heidi is on somewhere. Yep, there she is. And I started out in the class of 81B, I think, and finished in the class of 85. So one of my good memories is meeting my wife. I didn't know it was going to be my wife when I met her, but about 5 years later, 6 years later, sometime later, I married her. And then for some reason, the class of 81 always played Foursquare out in the front of Shrybrook Hall. I don't know if anybody other classes did that, but that was a kind of a fun thing. So I guess they play spike ball now. Heidi, this is a big moment for me. I know you weren't too excited about it because all your friends can't be here, but it brings back lots of memories, and one is your compassion. That is an amazing thing to me, your compassion for frogs and mice and your orphans at Uganda and your patients. You tell me stories about your patients that I just amazed about the compassion that you have for them. So thank you for that encouragement and that role model that you play for me. Determination. You have a lot of determination, which is shown in your schoolwork, but you have determination for other things too, music, your goals, your other travel. You love learning, and that's one thing that's fun to see you just like learning different things, from science to to human anatomy to different things. And so keep up that good work. Balance is something that I'm impressed with. Balance school versus play versus friendship versus God, family. That's a good thing. And then fun. You always like to have fun. So that's something that's encouraging to me, and it's an inspiration to me. So I guess in terms of advice, I think I'm at a point in my life that I need to start getting advice from you. So maybe you can give me some advice. But I would say keep your eyes in the great position. Keep doing what he wants you to do. Keep your compassion. Keep all your values that you have. And most of all, keep having fun. If you don't have fun, then life is not fun. So if my 90 seconds is not over, maybe Linda can give her 2 cents worth. I don't know.
Sure.
Keeping track.
Well, I didn't know I was going to have this opportunity because I'm from the School of Health and Nursing, but I remember Heidi in 10th grade saying, "Mama, I think God wants me to be a doctor." And I just saw her so determined and just staying so close to God and willing to give up so many things to accomplish that goal. And still, like Bob said, have fun. And I'm just really excited for your patients, for your colleagues, because you love people. And I'm excited for the people you work with and your teachers and mentors because of the stories that you've told me. So I think you're going to have a wonderful future, and God bless.
Thank you so much. Really nice. Sloops are next.
So Dr. Thomas, this is Dr. Stottlemyre. It turns out that the last 3 students have parents that were all classmates of mine from the class of 1986. And so I was wondering if I could chime in here a little bit.
Oh, you forgot, Sloops have a class of 87 also.
I understand that, but Randy and I were in cadaver tables right next to each other in gross anatomy. And I would also like to say, before you start to talk, Randy and Christine, class of 87 and 86, that Catherine is the first one here in our group tonight who is a 3rd generation physician, because J. Sloop, class of 1960, was your grandfather. And so we have all 3 generations of physicians in the Sloop family.
We actually, so Sasha Swenson and Wayanne Watson, their grandpa was in the class of 62. So we're actually 3 generations that are all in the same class. But my mom's grandpa also graduated from Loma Linda in, I think, 1927. So
wow.
If we kind of skip around, it's 4 generations.
That's great. Thank you for sharing. Are your folks on? Randy and Linda? I'm sorry, Christine, I mean. Randy, can you take yourself off mute?
We just did. Sorry, we were a little slow on that. Yes, so, well, we certainly, our whole family, as you mentioned, owes a lot to Loma Linda, going back all the way back to Christine's grandfather, who was in 1927. His name was Arthur Hughes. And then, of course, my father, and then both Christine's parents. They graduated from the University of Birmingham in England, but then practiced in Loma Linda, her father being on the Hart team for a number of years. So we just feel really grateful for everything that Loma Linda has done for our family. Katie comes by perseverance quite naturally. Her mother, being in the first grade, decided she really didn't belong in the first grade. She thought she was a second grader, and when they would go in from recess, would go into the second grade classroom, and did it so many times. The teacher met with her parents and told her that if she completed a large amount of work, she could become a second grader. So she sacrificed her recesses, and over the course of a month then became a second grader. And so Katie's had a lot of that same perseverance that she got from her mother, and even from a small child, very persevering. And out of all of our kids, when we work outside, she's the one that comes out and helps me the most, even if it's hard work. And she's carried that perseverance through academy. She skipped her senior year, even against our advice. We told her she should do her senior year, but she went right to college and then on to medical school. She was pretty sure that she wasn't going to become a doctor when she was quite small, and that was due to the large number of hours that she spent in the hospital. And so I think she wanted to be anything but a doctor. And it wasn't until in college she came down to Paradise and spent some time with the teachers at Paradise Academy and really liked it. But then we said, like, why don't you spend a little bit of time with us in the clinic, and maybe that'll show you that you really don't want to be a doctor. And then she changed her mind and went on to medical school. So really just proud of her accomplishments. She's done some time at between her first and second years in the Adventist Health Hospital in Botswana. That was a real inspirational trip for her. And so we're just thrilled that she wants to be not just a physician, but a Christian physician. And we're, again, just thankful for the leadership of Loma Linda. I remember 3 years ago, we came down for the parent weekend, and we were sitting at the alumni table, and Dr. Hadley was kind enough to sit at our table and gave us a lot of his reflections as well. The other people really inspirational for Katie is included not just Tammy Thomas, but Tammy Schenkel as well. And we just really want to thank all of you for your leadership. And it's good to see you, Debbie. I think Rick is on too. I didn't know if you saw Rick, my brother. He's on with us tonight as well.
Go Rick.
Well, Rick's got a mask on because he's brought Katie's grandmother on. So J. Randall Sloop's wife, grandmother, is on for us, and with Rick. So they're unmuted. They can talk now.
Yes, we'd like to hear from her.
You want to say anything?
Oh, hello. I really hadn't planned to do this, but it is a pleasure to see all of you graduating, and it brings back many memories from the year of 1960 when we graduated. It was the ceremony that was outdoors. The campus it was in two parts, Loma Linda and then LA. So many wonderful friends that we have made. And we are especially proud of Katie. Her grandfather would be popping his buttons if he were here right now, but we'll tell him about it when we see him. Thank you.
That'll be wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our last two students are cousins, And they, for those of you who don't know, share mothers who were both classmates of Rick and Randy and I, Waylene and Marilyn. But we're going to hear first from Betty, Sasha's grandmother, who is the wife of John Wong, who was also in your class, Mrs. Loop, a class of 1960. So Betty, are you on? Can you get off mute and share your little tribute for Sasha and Wei-Ann?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Thanks, Deborah. Yes, you mentioned my late husband graduated in 1960. Were he here, he would be here to congratulate our two granddaughters, Sasha Swenson, Wei-Ann Watson, classmates in the year 2020. And their mothers, as you mentioned, Wei-Ling and Marilyn, my two daughters, were also classmates 34 years ago in 1986. And they have a beautiful, wonderful classmate named Dr. Deborah Stoudemire. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Betty. Now let's go to the Swenson family. Ron and Waylene, are you available?
Yeah, we are here.
Good to see you guys.
Hey guys, Ron was class of 84. So nice to see Randall and
Hi,
Jim.
Randall and Jim.
So the journey began the moment we learned of your existence in utero.
We delighted in watching you grow, exploring new vistas for us. Gymnastics, basketball, despite your mom's attempt to throw in Suzuki violin.
I want to be a doctor, you declared. Are you sure? We're so emotional. We feel so deeply. Medical education is brutal.
Pre-med classes, application, interview, we had protectively blocked it out of our memories.
As your goal appeared closer, we were able to reflect on the rewards of medical practice seen only through the lens of time. Patient interactions, they share their deepest hopes, fears, rage, gratitude, joys that are all a part of life.
We find it holy work that we are called to participate in.
With growing pleasure, we watched as the bonds of friendship developed with your fellow class of 2020. We have cherished the bonds with our own classmates through the decades.
Sasha, may the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you.
The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace.
Thank you so much. That was really, really lovely. So now, Sasha, you are the second person this evening who is a third generation Loma Linda graduate from the School of Medicine. And we're now going to go to Wei-Ann, who is our third and student tonight, who is a third generation. And she has the distinct privilege of being a third generation, both on the maternal and the paternal sides. So she comes from a line of 4 physicians and her parents and grandparents. And we're going to let her grandfather, Paul Watson, and his son, Jim, her dad. Jim, are you there with Paul? Dr. Watson and Dr. Watson?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank you, Debbie, and everyone else in the School of Medicine for organizing this. It was a disappointment that we couldn't all be there in person, but this is really special and it touches my heart. I'm very happy that my dad is still alive and had the chance to see Wei-Ann graduate. Sitting right beside me here is Paul Watson from the College of Medical Evangelists class of 1959. And he was so excited to find out that Wei-Ann decided to go to medical school and was very excited to get the opportunity to see her graduate. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Dad, and you want to give some words of advice to Wei-Ann and her classmates?
Yes. One of the greatest things that you can give to your patients is your love. And if you've learned to love, as it says over in the 13th chapter, that it really is the greatest gift that you can give to your patients, aside from good medical care, is love. And so so that's my advice to Wei Ann and all the rest of her people that are graduating, that you learn to love. And so that's my advice for you. And I'm sure all of you will be able to put that into practice.
Thank you, Dr. Watson. Dad, do you have anything else you want to say to your daughter before we turn the mic over to your wife?
Absolutely. First of all, I'm so happy, Wei Ann, that you decided to become a doctor, and even more excited that you decided to be a surgeon. And probably the best thing is that you decided to stay in Loma Linda so we can come visit you and stay with you every weekend. As far as words of advice, from a plastic surgeon standpoint, 3 words of advice. Number 1, always inject lidocaine with epi before you make the incision. Number 2, 5/0 or 6/0 nylon closures. And the third is grandchildren, grandchildren, grandchildren. Please do not forget that word.
I think we just lost Wei Ann off the call. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for that tribute. And so now we turn to Wei Ann's mother, Marilyn, who is in a different location than Jim because Jim traveled out to be with Dr. Watson.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. Something is really weird on my sound, and so I cannot hear, but sorry. I hope you can hear me. I have just a little poem that I wrote last night because I'm not very good at spontaneous spontaneous speaking, so I'm just going to read it. I hope you can hear me. Can you believe our daughters graduate medical school today? Never thought our babies would turn out this way. When changing diapers and wiping away tears, who knew they would grow up after all of these years? 34 years ago, we marched down this lawn, diploma in hand, ready to take the world on. 4 years of study, friendships, struggles, and prayer. Did we dream that our daughters would ever go there? We're so glad you've chosen to help make man whole, to heal the spirit, mind, body, and soul. Following in Jesus' ministry of healing, a career serving others couldn't be more appealing. So what can we say as you embark on the journey of life, facing a world with disease, poverty, heartache, and strife? What have we learned in our decades of living in a planet that is often so cold and unforgiving? Keep God number 1 in your heart and your mind. Pray without ceasing, never stop being kind. Life will take you on many a twist and turn. Take each setback as an opportunity to learn. Remember with fondness your old med school days, the studies, the parties, the ruckus you raised. Hold LLU in your prayers and help it to thrive. Keep Christ's mission here on this earth alive.
What a special tribute. Thank you for sharing the pictures of the family generational tree. We're proud of all the generations represented in your family as well as the others on the call tonight. Thank you. Dr. Thomas?
And thanks for showing your special poetry talent, since I do not have that talent, so I always admire it. So thank you. All right, well, we wanted everybody to have the opportunity just to connect, and I think of all of the stories that have been told and that extra special thing of connection. I believe that going through school and graduating in different places, you make really important connections throughout life. But I really have noticed throughout life, for all of the graduates on the call, of the extra special connection that you have with people that you graduate medical school from. You may have, it may have been 10 years or 20 years since you've seen them and you're in the same room, and it's like no time has passed, where you can just pick up where you left off. I have seen classmates around the world in many different places. I think one of my most random one was I was in Vienna and was going to a concert, and I walked into the concert right as they turned the lights down, and I looked across the room and I thought, wow, that person looks familiar, and the lights came back up and it was one of my classmates. And it's one of those special things that it's an extra intangible gift that I don't know that you always count on until after you're gone. So I think the words I would have to leave, thank you everyone for the really heartfelt comments and the ability to give advice about staying true to our mission. The verse came to mind that, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, and plans to give you hope and a future. And so what I guess I would wish for all of the graduates on the call within that future is the ability to stay connected, the ability to commit to a life of service. And I think all of us, you heard a lot of the parents talking and the things that they wish for you. And it isn't always the huge accolades, but I think I would wish, the gifts of compassion and the gifts of kindness and the gifts of persistence and the gift of patience and all of those extra things that will make your careers and your life special. So as we go forward, we wish you all of the best. I'm seeing some of you still tomorrow, and I wanted your parents to be able to have the moment where they could brag on you a little bit in semi-public. This is as public as we seem to be getting right now. So we wish you the best, and thank you everyone for taking the time to stop for a moment. We really appreciate it.
So we're going to close with a couple of words from the president of the Alumni Association. First of all, I want to say that we are offering a gift to all of the families that were invited to this evening tonight. When COVID is over and the alumni office is open, we welcome you to call and make an appointment to have formal photographs in your regalia in our media suite at the Alumni Association, free of cost, as our gift to you to help also make up for the not being able to be in the tent in reality. And you can get on our website and look at that number. So graduates, you and your families are now and forever part of a special community, the physician alumni of Loma Linda School of Medicine. No matter where you go in the world, this community exists for you. The Alumni Association's mission is to care for, connect with, and communicate to the members of this special group of God's servants. We invite you to remain both in touch and involved with the Alumni Association. And I've been asked to close the event with prayer. So if we could all bow our heads. Heavenly Father, you who invite us to call you Abba know what it's like to be a parent. Today we are gathered as parents and grandparents, teachers and administrators to celebrate our children as they graduate from medical school. Our children are yours, Father. No matter where they go or how old they are, we trust them to your care. We claim your promise that you have a great purpose for them in this life, and we entrust them completely into the safest place they can be, your hands. We know your hands are big enough to hold and carry them, protect and cover them. And we know you love each of them even more than we do, more than we can imagine. And so we lift them up before you, thanking you for the work you have done and are continuing to do in their lives. They are a gift to us and to many others. As they leave Loma Linda University School of Medicine to begin their internships across the nation, we ask that you would make their way clear. Keep their footsteps firm and remind them that you are with them always. May they sense the freshness of your spirit over their lives in amazing ways. May they be strengthened and still with hope as they travel new roads you have in store for them. Our world is currently anxious, fearful, and uncertain, Father, but we acknowledge that you are always faithful and true. We pray our graduates are filled with your courage and strength, that they may be a light to their friends and neighbors in this uncertain time. Each one of these graduates, dear Father, is also part of a family that has repeatedly chosen to serve you in the profession of medicine. I thank you for the gift of the physician mothers, fathers, and grandparents who raised these new graduates to become the next generation of healers, committed to the calling to make man whole. I know these families are especially precious in your sight. And so I ask that you would deeply bless all the generations of healers represented here this evening. Finally, Lord, bless the School of Medicine. Give wisdom and courage to our dean and all of her colleagues and staff as they continue the work of training Christian physicians. May all of us, by your grace, remain willing to stand strong and true, passionate for you, believing that you have designed us for purpose and good works, which you have planned and prepared in advance. I pray all of this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you all.
Good night. God bless.